Welcome, my friends, to the Quantum Shamans presented by Moshi, the Ministry of Shamanic Healing and Integration, bringing you insights into the spiritual secrets of the mind and the universe around you. We are here to help you on your spiritual journey and path of healing. And now your hosts, David and Anthony.
YouTube channel.
I have not.
Try that out, because that will help you bring energy and light into the need, because you're a light being, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if you use your intention, you can bring heat. You have everything you need in you.
Yeah.
It's already there. We can use exterior things to kind of help, which is good, but ultimately it's going to be you taking control of your energy that can, you know, according to medical books, that can't change or be regenerated. I'm going to disagree because I've helped several people do it.
Oh, I don't have any doubt in my mind it can
You
be
can do
generated.
it. Yeah, you can do it. So that would be the first place I send you to put that into your private practice. It's called How to Manage Chronic Pain.
Okay.
But besides it being just for pain, it helps you focus and bring energy into points of your body where there's, you know, a problem.
Okay.
Right? And
breathe into that knee.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. And it's setting your intention, like you get yourself set, and then you start bringing light. You're imagining or focusing and intending light to come into the knee. And practice makes progress. Before you know it, you become masterful at that thing, and you kind of heal whatever bothers you.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's cool for me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really I'm never in pain really anymore or anything, not for long.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So.
This is the only real one I have that's bothersome to me.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm pretty good shape.
Does it come and go? Or is it
comes and goes because I do some physical therapy with it.
Mm-hmm.
I use some exercises. I went for a couple of months where I didn't do anything, and I paid the price for that.
Sure.
And because my muscles got weak around here, and so the support wasn't as good. But this knee sock is really wonderful.
Yeah. Good support, keeps it warm.
Oh,
yeah, that's good stuff.
Together.
Another thing you could do is call vestibular training. So stand on that foot and just balance.
Yeah.
Because what happens, it sends a bunch of signals and energy into the nervous system surrounding it, and it can begin to help you regenerate things.
Okay,
help
I hadn't
things
heard
along.
about that.
Well, this isn't something you're going to find in a medical book. These are shamanic kind of ways of healing, using our own energy and our own ability to make change. So, like Mary had a torn meniscus in her knee, and part of her rehabilitation for it without surgery was vestibular training. So when I say vestibular, we have essentially a gyroscope in our head, and that's how we keep balance. You know, according to science, they have no idea how we even walk on two legs. You know, that's kind of goofy, like scientifically. But we just have a very advanced nervous system.
Yes, we do.
We just don't really use it right. We usually are worrying and, you know, all kinds of things like that. But when we take that time, it's where meditation, flowing energy, using your awareness to move energy through your body, it really begins to do it. You have control over that nervous system.
Yeah, we look for relief outside of us.
I know I did. You know, I spent.
That's where it's all designed from. That we're it's part of the programming.
In the system.
You know, so and there's it's just like understanding that is one thing, and then working with it to bring about change is a whole nother thing. It's a process. It's taking time, and it's like I'm happy to do it. You know.
Yeah.
I've been reading one of Ted Andrews' books, Animal Wise, right now because I want to develop an inner totem using the chakras.
Yep.
And it's just like becoming more attuned with nature.
Yep.
Because that's what we are anyway.
Right. This is the primary teachings of my shamanic way. Of my shamanic teachings, we call it the Nawi system instead of chakras. Right. Chakras is an idea, a Hindu idea. The more South American mountain medicine is Nawi, and we see them as eyes instead of spinning discs, and that allows us to connect to living energy outside of us.
Okay.
And kind of pull it in. So there's other ideas, schools of knowledge in that idea, but the basic idea is that you're a vertical column of light.
Right.
And you have a bunch of nerve centers, which are all brains. They're parts of our brain. We're cut off from them because we've been overdeveloped this part, because it's the kind of society we live in where it's this. Okay. But we can take our time to develop these parts by creating a relationship with them or a neural connection. So your breath is one of the most powerful things we have to create neural connections. So even people that have like nerve damage, I have people come to me with neuropathy. Right. I have them start interoception is the word, inner body awareness. Okay. Start bringing your awareness, scanning your body to wherever you feel pain or heaviness, and then breathing into it. You're sending, because breath is also light. Everything's light, so we think it's just
Yes, it
there.
is.
So we bring that light in, and we have the ability with our intention to send it wherever we want. And it doesn't even take a lot of practice to begin to be able to do that. For most people, it feels totally foreign and odd when they first start, and they can't really get it or understand. A lot of people quit, like, oh, this isn't working. Like, hey, listen, you got to put in some effort and some time. That's like trying to go to the gym and deadlift 500 pounds. You never did it before. It's not going to happen. You have to work into it, and it happens for everybody at a different pace because it has to do with the neural connections in the body. But breathing into places in your body is one of the most potent tools for healing that humans have.
It's been a real benefit for me. You know, I appreciate the teachings that are going on, the instruction, the guidance, and the difference it's making in my life is just it's absolutely amazing.
I love watching you grow.
Yes.
Well, I like watching me grow too.
I bet.
You know, and you know, one of the things that I've been made aware of recently is this is who I've always been. I just resisted it. There was it was just constant. It wasn't really a battle that went on. It was just I won't be that. I won't be this person who cares about other human beings and shows it.
Right.
I would care about them in my mind and even in my heart, but I wouldn't show it. You know, and it's like
Fear of vulnerability.
Yeah, weakness.
Hard thing, yeah.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
weakness to
Yeah.
show love and compassion.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine in my former like toxic masculine mindsets how I would tell another man just out in public that I love you and mean it. You know, like that sounds so weird to how I used to think, and now it's like it's second nature. I'll tell everyone I love them, and I mean
bother
it.
me.
Yeah, like, but my old self was like, "No way, man, that's fruity," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, lots of judgment, self-judgment, and everything.
Oh, it's just destructive. Or at the very least, it's damaging. Whether it's destructive or not, it becomes that. It's like a mental health disorder. You know, when you let it get to the point where it's a disorder, you got problems, man. You got to work on them really hard. It takes a lot of effort, and it's just like, I'm so glad I've broken out of that mold of Doug the badass and a guy who didn't need anybody. You know, It's just like, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah. It's just a protection kind of thing. It's the ego mind tries to protect us. It doesn't understand. It's disempowering us.
Right.
As we awaken and arise into the higher mind, into our Christed self, or there's many words for it. Our spirit comes back is another way I understand it. As that all happens, we start to look at all these things, and then the first thing is we feel guilt and shame because we held ourselves back, and then we have to learn how to forgive ourselves. And as I forgive me, I become free.
Well, it becomes, it's just incredible what happens, you know, and I love sitting here and being in here and watching people do this. Every time I come here, I see people healing.
Yeah.
You know, and then out in the world, I can even see people healing, but I'm afraid that's not going on a whole lot, but it's going on. You know?
It's happening a lot in the reality I'm observing.
Okay.
A lot of what we see in the world, so this is like how I was just talking to you over there. We don't see it as it is, we see it as we are.
Correct.
So if we still have viewpoints of there is all this evil in the world, that's in us. That's a piece of us that it's reflecting with. I am aware that there's things that happen. However, I choose not to place my attention into that because giving it my attention, I'm giving it power. And that's how we've been tricked the whole time here in this reality.
Absolutely.
To give our power away willingly through fear. If I can scare you, you'll do whatever I want. What's the easiest way to scare somebody? Make them afraid of what they don't understand. The afterlife. Right? That's one of the biggest tricks to humankind is where religion comes in and puts God outside of you. I'm creation itself, and so is everything.
Yeah.
And then when we know that, now we become empowered and we become truly like graceful and holy and connected, you know? Yeah. We can't find it if we're always wretched. If I'm always not good enough and I'm God-fearing instead of loving through the power in which I am God. I mean, my ego and everything, all those things are part of Source in itself. And it's not a problem. It's just something, it's an opportunity for us to grow. We just take this reality way too serious because we don't know any better. We haven't been taught that. If we were all taught from the beginning when we were children, what I understand now and what's being taught now, it would be a totally different ballgame.
Everything would be different.
Right. You know? Nobody would be afraid of dying. Nobody's mad at each other. If somebody's having a hard time, we just support them. You know, we don't take it personal. You know, it's we understand if someone's lashing out at you, it doesn't have to do with them. It doesn't have to do with you. It has to do with them, because people treat you how they feel about themselves.
Yeah, that was a wonderful revelation that was made to me over a period of time. That it's somebody coming at me isn't me.
They're just mirroring their own
them,
insecurities and pain.
Yeah, I would always be defensive about it and say, "What's wrong with me?" And
Right.
and then reinforce that whole attitude that there is something wrong with me. And okay, and all that's changing now, and it takes time. I'm patient. I like that.
That's all you need.
It feels good while it's happening,
Yeah.
and it's just all a matter of perception. And I that was something that I was tutored on many times. It's all a matter of perception, but I couldn't understand it.
Right. Can't know till you feel it. Right.
It takes whatever happens to make that revelation become real. Yeah.
Right. For me, it was terminal illness. Laying there in my bed, dying, couldn't breathe anymore, didn't sleep for 3 days, was really depressed and sad. They told me I was going to be on oxygen for the rest of my life and all kinds of shit. And I was like, why should I keep going? That was the question I asked. And I didn't try to think about it. This was early, and how I started to first learn how to communicate with spirit was from my lowest point. Because I asked, and I didn't ask my mind, I asked outward, why should I continue? I'm going to die, right? And that's when my perception started to change, because new thoughts started to come into me.
Okay.
It opened me up. So another way to look at that is spirit started to communicate with me. Those thoughts are energy. I had these thoughts I've never had before.
Right.
Why? It says, perhaps you could think about things more positively. My first reaction was like, what? What's to be positive? I'm dying. I have 20 other symptoms besides lung disease.
And the world's a mess.
Yeah, and the world's a mess, and my life is a mess. And I've been a victim my whole life, and all these things I was telling myself. And then it said to me exactly what I'm saying to you. Perhaps you don't see it as it is, but you see it as you are. And that really started to open my mind to how my perception is informing my reality. And then it took me deeper, and my understanding started to understand it's my vibration. My frequency is what brings these thoughts to me. I was like, holy shit, I never knew that. Like how I am. So if I can change my state, I'm not feeling so good. I'm changing my state, changing my vibration. Now there's more potential and possibility that I can draw from besides the limitations that I'm consistently surrounded with in the fear mind. So I go beyond my fear mind. Ooh, I've changed my state. Got out of sympathetic dominance into parasympathetic dominance, and now I'm in the rest and digest. I'm in a flow state. Now I'm open to let God talk to me instead of my mind running everything. Because the mind's just, it's past experience. That's all it is.
Well, yeah, and it's ego.
Yeah, right. Which isn't always bad. I'm not in the school of thought that you need to murder your ego or dissolve your ego.
Not.
I think it needs to be, it's a tool, and it can be fashioned and used properly. I think for some people early in the stage of awakening maybe have to have that thought so they can create this illusory separation. Some people even name their egos. They'll name it. But then that's 2 layers of ego that's happening, because what's naming another part of the ego? So I don't usually teach from that way, but some people do. Like, your ego is not your amigo. What you're saying is there's separation. You're disagreeing with the oneness, the unity of all energy when you say that. So that can be semi-empowering for someone, but it's never freedom. So I understand that my ego, I don't see it as a problem, and since I don't see it as a problem and treat it that way, it works with I. I is the higher mind. Me is this ego mind. My ego mind's a child. That's what it is. Our egos are children. It's the same thing that was born into this body.
Right.
That's what it is. So what's happened is over time, through this communication that consistently happens, me and I are friends. It's almost like a son-father connection. The father, source, God, and me, this guy that gets to play this character named Anthony for a little bit. Right? That's pretty intensely amazing when you become aware in that aspect.
Goes
when
on
you
for a
become
long
the
time,
observer.
doesn't it?
Huh?
Goes on for a long time.
Well, we're eternal, so
Yeah.
that's okay. I try not to use a lot of attention in trying to perceive time anymore. It has advantages and disadvantages, but the biggest advantage is how free my mind feels. I don't feel. My whole life before now was controlled by the clock. I'm worried and thinking, and time's a ticking, and it's like a doomsday kind of thing happening, and we don't even know it.
I know the change that's happened since I haven't spent all this time focusing on time, or that whole attitude that I lived with that I was directed by, and it was just chaos that went on. And I used some psilocybin last night. And
let's before you start that, let's.
Well, you can start them from here, and then we'll just jump in now. So you can start them from where we were talking about some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So you can clip that somewhere and bring it to here, and then we'll wave, and then we'll bring it in, and that's how we'll start in. We're like, we've already been going, everybody. Doug, you were just about to tell us a story about psilocybin, right? We can get in like that.
Okay.
Switch it up a little, make it a little bit different, huh? Yes, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
What were you gonna say?
Well, it was because it fit with something, because it was like my experience of psilocybin up to this point have been very organized. There's been these geometric patterns and really intelligent color designs and different patterns that sometimes are even black and white, but it's all been a very organized experience. And last night it was totally disorganized. and I couldn't understand what was happening, and I'm not real sure, and I know that integration will happen over the next few days, and so I'll understand it more, but it didn't bother me, it didn't upset me, and there was a time not even very long ago when I probably would have canceled what was going on because I didn't agree with it. I didn't like the disorganization because there was flashes here and all different things were happening that I've never experienced before, and
It's helping you to release control.
And that's what's going on. This whole change is happening. It's like it's very beneficial to me, and so hence it's beneficial to the rest of the world because I'm part of it. Instead of breaking windows, I'm washing them or something.
Yeah.
And that kind of disorganization that happened, that came as a real surprise. It was a real surprise, and it didn't hurt me. It didn't cause any kind of stress or damage or anything. I just didn't understand it exactly, but I was like okay with it. It's like, okay, there's something new going on here, And that's what's happening in all areas of my life that I can see right now. And I think I see that happening in people around me too, or I hear them saying that. So, especially the group of people that comes in here and goes to sound baths and breathing and breath work and
static dance
and static dance and a healing circle.
Yeah.
What an incredible experience that was.
I agree.
It was just wow. I was light, and it was and I experienced joy, and I was part of other people experiencing joy too. And there was a lot of emotion that went on too. I mean, I saw the emotion in people, but it was a healthy emotion. It wasn't sorrowful or I'm a bad person kind of a thing. It was, wow, this is really a wonderful experience, and I'm so glad I could be part of that. I felt that, and I felt that from people doing that. And it was.
It was beautiful. To date, that has been one of the most powerful experiences in my priesthood so far.
Okay.
Very powerful. That was a very powerful experience for me. And all of us, I think. Because I talked to pretty much everyone that's been there, and everyone's kind of had like a trend of change happening. Like a tide. Because when we come in together, we're all part of collective consciousness. We can bring in more source.
Right.
together. So it's like we together we can create miracles. We can rebirth the whole world within us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, I loved it.
It was. I've literally never experienced anything like that in my life, and to be part of that, it was wonderful. That's all I can say. And if anybody, I have an opportunity to inform anybody that when you see hear of a healing circle, try to go to it.
We'll have another one soon. I like
Yeah.
to have 2 a month if we can, and
Yeah.
as the weather gets cooler, we'll have to find like suitable indoor space. But
Right.
we'll work it out. It'll happen.
Yeah.
We can, because together we can do anything.
But yes, we can.
And if we keep organizing that way, it organizes us not just individually, it organizes us in a collective, because our energy fields interact like neurological connections. That's how these things work. So we're all there working in this energetic space. That's why all this stuff is designed. It's designed this way to create a neurological connection beyond our body or our idea of a body. So this is how like cells interact with each other. We're starting to learn, and I'm starting to see that, and Dave and I are starting to see that there's lots of people in the community now that are coming forward and saying, I'm ready to help. What can I do? I believe in this message, and I want to get it out in the world with you. I've had people approach me, I want to help you write a book. I've had people approach us like, hey, I want to help you with like this administrative stuff. Can I help you advertise? That's all the thing. That's just the beginning. What happens when we work together as like an organized team? We can do anything. And we can do absolutely anything.
Right. Well, it's a more healthy organism.
Wouldn't you say? And
Absolutely.
coherent organism. Yeah.
It's collective too.
Collective coherence is my primary goal.
Yeah.
That's what has been instilled to me by what I perceive as the Lord or God. That's what's been brought into me. It's been asked to me, I'm going to give you back your breath in your life, and I want you to go out in the world, and I want you to help other people find it, find themselves. And I'm like, great. I know that's not going to be easy, but I'm up for it.
You know what? One person at a time, 2 people at a time, whatever, and it just, hopefully the message gets passed around and more people begin to participate. I can't imagine anybody that participates in this not growing and becoming a more content person, more focused person, a more confident person. I can't imagine that not happening. So it's certainly happening for me, and I see it around me too. So
we see it too.
Yes.
That's why we had to have you back already, Doug.
oh, okay.
And welcome everybody to Quantum Shamans presented by Moshe. I'm Anthony,
And I'm David.
and we're back with Doug.
Okay.
Doug's one of our favoriteest guests, so we had to have him on again right away.
Okay.
And we've already been going for a little bit, but we decided that we're going to come in and do the intro. So this is probably about where Dave's going to cut the intro.
Yep.
And then he'll come back and I'll say, hey, Dave, can you recite the Moshe vision statement?
Yes, the Ministry of Shamanic Healing aims to help individuals heal from spiritual maladies stored as energy in the subconscious that manifest in the form of trauma, PTSD, physical illness, mental health issues, and addiction. These practices include but are not limited to yoga, breathwork, meditation and mindfulness practices, Reiki, sweat lodge ceremonies, sensory deprivation, sacred plants, and any other rituals we collectively decide to establish. We hold ritual ceremonies for our community to heal collectively in a safe space, as well as individual ritual healing tailored to members of our collective for the purpose of intensive inner work. Our most important responsibility is to help our members integrate their individual and collective experiences in order to ameliorate their spiritual maladies and spread love for the betterment of mankind. Our belief is that our collective consciousness is God. Every living organism has a purpose and is essential for homeostasis. From the single-cell organisms to the observable universe, we all deserve love, respect, peace, harmony, and forgiveness. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love conquers all.
Does conquer all, doesn't
Man, dude, you flew through that one little snag. The rest was like fluid, so fluid. Wow, man.
Those are a lot of words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew Wavy Davy could do it, though.
And there are meaningful
He can do
words.
anything. Yeah, very meaningful words.
Yeah.
Well, we've already been talking for a little bit, but we want to welcome you back, Doug.
Thank you.
We love you. You're one of our favorite people in this place.
I love
And
being
we love
loved.
everybody. Huh?
I love being loved.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's what we're here, to love and be loved.
Yeah, I found that to be my deepest true purpose one day. My mind and some angels showed up and were talking to me, and they regularly, these beings of light will bring questions to me because all the answers of the universe are available to us. What we don't have is the key, and that's the question. Asking the right question. So this question came into me, and I started to inquire, what is it that I really want? And I was like, ooh. And then so I started to think of all these concepts and everything, and then I'd feel about it, think about it, feel about it. It wasn't a match. So I kept going. I just opened up the question. I didn't try to think about it intellectually. I just let it be open. And then what came back a little while later was, what do I really want? What do I really need? To love and to be loved. Mm-hmm. And then that brought me into a flash and a memory of pre-incarnation, when we're part of Source, and that's primarily why we decide to incarnate here, to be able to experience these things, even pain. Love and pain. Both of them are necessary here.
I'm going to agree with that.
Pain's necessary for growth.
And I probably always did agree with that. I just didn't understand what it actually meant. How,
Right.
Because there was so much chaos. And it's like the chaos is still there, you know. I mean, I see it all around me all the time. But how I respond to that has changed.
Uh-huh. What did you have to let go to for that to happen, do you think? Can you recognize that? Like I had to let something go, or a series of things, and that begins to change your behavior because it changes your perspective.
Well, being in control was probably the big one. I don't think it's possible to be in control of anything except me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but I wanted to control everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nothing but disappointment and conflict can happen.
Right.
From what I can tell, and it's just so then that brings in acceptance is an important thing. I have to be able to accept the fact that I'm not in control of anything other than Doug.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the change began to happen, you know, and that's when healing began to happen. I'm going to say that's what change is for me. It's healing, and it's happening at a pretty rapid pace right now, and I like it.
You love
I
it.
like-
Me too.
Love it.
Me too. It's all over, you know.
too.
This is what I do is I help people heal every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's my primary function currently, and I see it across all the people I know and work with.
Right.
Everyone is expanding. And I know that to be true because I'm expanding, and if I'm expanding, so are you, because
Right.
we're the same thing.
Same.
That's what's happening. We're part of the one. So that's why the primary goal always is what you've discovered is if you want to change the world, you've got to do it from the inside out. That's where it happens.
There's no other way to do it.
No, any other way, you just set yourself up for suffering because there's no control external or the idea
Right.
of external. It starts right here. What
Yeah.
can I change about me so I stop reacting to my reality in a heavy way? Right, that's where the question. Those are some of those questions that come in. Spirit brings in these questions, like you know how like when you have an epiphany kind of question, a question that comes in and makes you think about something you never realized before, or in some new way. That's spirit. That's what that is. That's
Yes,
what
it is.
Zit. That's when God talks to us.
I
And,
can get that one too.
and the more we work with it, allow ourselves to open up to Source or universe. I don't try to use too many words. For me, I'm not uncomfortable saying God because I see everything in the living Source as God. So opening ourselves up to it's like a neurological flow. That's exactly how I see and understand it. Because as I've evolved, I have an ability to see through the third eye that allows me to see energy. So I can tell how everything's connected. Like it's not a guess to me anymore. Like it's not like, oh, that's a really cool philosophy. That's my experience. And now I understand how the philosophy came to be. Because we're part of it's, as above, so below. All the 30 trillion cells of our body are all interconnected through a nervous system.
Yeah.
And they work together with synchronized harmony. Right? It's amazing. That's amazing. We're the same thing. We're just kind of disorganized. But that's what's happening. That's how it feels to me. Like if I had to say what's healing at the deepest level, energetic organization, coherence. Things begin to flow. As the energy and light flows through us, it's no longer blocked up. It doesn't create any symptoms. Then you float and you move. But that doesn't mean a new symptom may not arise, because that has to happen, because that improves the flow. It's like working out. Add some weight. Do a little more every workout, and then you become stronger and stronger.
Right.
Our nervous system, our connection to God works same way.
Acronym I always liked was God as good orderly direction.
I like that.
Okay,
I
like
dig
that
that.
too.
Good orderly direction.
Yeah.
I agree. That
All I
feels
know
good.
is I don't have to be a bully anymore. You know.
Yeah.
I feel better about myself because
Right.
because of that, and I think that it just comes from fear anyway.
It does.
And so that what that tells me is that my fear level is like not non-existent, but it's in line.
You're feeling generally safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you've always been.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we just got to remember and remind ourselves. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I mean, that's like a primary teaching in a lot of my healing spaces with people, is allowing us to begin to reprogram our mind first just by saying it, I'm safe.
Yeah.
I'm safe. Or asking the question, am I safe? Right? And then one can start there, because sometimes there's confusion. Then we start to realize, I don't feel safe, but that's just my thoughts, because nothing's attacking me. And that creates a new awareness. Oh, I see something here. We're very incredible and capable of so much more than how it's being used, this thing. Like our intelligence is far more vast than anything we understand that's developed through this part of our mind. And now we're starting to open that up. That's also like an alignment for me. Like this is like what I understand or feel to be like, in biblical terms, the second coming of Christ. Mm-hmm. It's that Christ within us. He came here to show us this is who you are. This is what you actually are. And this is what we're meant to grow into. And that's why I love the saying, what would Jesus do? Right. That's what you're supposed to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. Not worshiping him and feeling bad and asking for him to forgive you and all these things. All that happens in you when you allow the Christ in, or the light in.
Right.
But that only gets in if we get fear out of the way. That's it. We have to give up fear. And that's really what happens. That's a stripping away of fear, creating safety.
I can
Rise of the rainbow.
You feel safe. Yeah, I can feel your safety.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that within you. I can feel the softness and happiness of your awareness. I can tell that you're much more alert and awake, that, wow, everything's really cool. Mm-hmm. Like you have an awareness.
It begets confidence, and confidence is a very nice thing to have. I'm confident about myself.
Yeah.
I don't question what's going on in where I'm going in life right now. Mm-hmm. I just go with it, because it's so easy to do. Mm-hmm. And one of the beautiful things about being here at Sacred Waters is that I'm surrounded by people who are doing this same thing. They're the same people who have been as insecure as I have in my life, or misbehaved, or whatever it was, or acted out, or all of us have done that, and I don't see anybody here doing that. It's just like, oh my goodness, this is real, and the experience is real, and it's actual, and it's ongoing. And it's like, this isn't just a passing thing that's going on,
Once it starts, it never stops.
Apparently. And I'm enjoying this ride quite a bit, man. It's just
You can feed it, or you can slow it down,
it's an
but you can never stop it.
I don't know how to slow it down. I haven't come across that one yet.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Really, and I'm not,
Don't
because I really don't want to.
Uh-huh.
The way it's being delivered is so comfortable that it's easy
Yeah.
to just take it in and to share. And I spend a lot of time observing, which I really like doing. These are all different things in life. These are things that for 60 years I had no idea. I literally had no idea what it would be like to be like that. Uh-huh. And now I don't think that I missed anything.
Good.
I think that there was decades of preparation to to become whatever it is Doug's going to become in this life, you know. And I'm thinking I don't have to do it again. We'll get new things for the next time around, or different things anyway.
It's happening right now.
Happening right now, yes.
For the kingdom of heaven is within.
Yes, it is.
It's opening within us all.
Yes, it is. That's one of the messages that I'm getting very reinforced by going to the Grace Community Church in Grafton.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Wow.
Doug, you've been going to church. Tell us about that.
What a wonderful experience that is, to be around a word that I believe comes from source.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know, it's not something that's manufactured, made up.
Adulterated, maybe.
Adultery.
Yeah, I mean, it's been mistranslated, all kinds of things.
Right.
But the thing is about Scripture is it's not really, you're in a space now where you're sensitive enough to feel it rather than try to intellectually chew it. Right? So when our intuition opens, that's when the Scripture is the most valuable. Like, it was just words to me when I was younger because I would try to literally understand what it's saying.
Right.
But that's not what it is. It's all parables and things. You're meant to feel it and see how it interacts with your experience. That's why, like, Bible studies never really work for people, because it's usually someone in the group asserting their dominance over what that Scripture means. But that's what it means for them. There are some things that are sort of universal, like the kingdom of heaven is within. Be still and know that I am God. Things like that. But the Scripture itself, I agree now. I was an atheist before, but I will tell you now that my understanding of the Christian Bible, regardless of how it's been mashed up and changed, the living frequency that's in between the words and within it is infallible. Is one of the most complete truths known to man.
Okay.
I'll agree to that, for sure.
Yeah.
I know why it's calling to you. Because I work with Christ myself. I'm just not a Christian. Christ wasn't a Christian either. So I work in a different way. I follow his teachings, not what Christians said his teachings are. So I've learned how to, and I always challenge people to do that, especially if people are coming from religious indoctrinations, to begin to learn about the teachings of Jesus outside of religion. And we happen to have an awesome resource for that, and that's the crowd-funded series called The Chosen.
Okay.
Very, very powerful thing. It's crowd-funded, so there's no Hollywood involved. And what it does is it shows the teachings of Yeshua, or Jesus, and his disciples in a different way, a more accurate way than what the understandings or what the church often puts as what the truth is.
Okay.
And that's also why Grace Community Church is great, because the pastor there is an awakened man. He's just using Christian language. He's trying to help people, transition into their consciousness, because there's a lot of people that are trapped in the conventional or what they've been taught ideas, but which aren't the traditional ideas. Christianity is a living tradition, and it's meant to grow and expand. It's meant to. It's not like these are the concrete words and this is how it is. That's control. That's what I think we were talking about that earlier, the control thing.
Right, yeah.
As long as I keep you afraid, then I have control over you.
Boy, sure do.
Once we become free, now you don't worry anymore. I don't have to do anything except float along my life, and I don't have to try to be a good person because I just am. I just let it come through me.
Yeah.
I let my light come through me. I know that everything's okay, and it doesn't matter what happens. It's going to be okay. It always is okay.
I know it's a wonderful way to live, and I'm very happy that it's happening for me, and it can happen for anybody that wants it to. Well, that's one of the things I know for sure, because we can get past our darkness. There's no question in my mind about that, and it takes work, it takes effort, and then once the work's been done and the effort's been put in, boy, to go with the flow is not a hard thing to do because the reward is constant.
Right, you get into flow.
Yeah. It's just nonstop. I feel okay today. I like this, that kind of thing, and it just keeps coming. And it's not intellectual, but there is some intellect involved. But for the most part, it's a heartfelt experience, and And that's what makes it real to me. You know, the endless loop doesn't happen now. And I like that, you know. So
now you're on your true voyage, right? You're going through it instead of being stuck. That's the best part about this. Best part about our spiritual expansion is how much more we feel and perceive and understand. I'm continuously growing, and my life becomes more beautiful all the time.
Anthony, I'm not stuck. I don't think I'm stuck in anything right now.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I you know, as soon as you said that use that word, because I've thought about it a few times. I don't feel like I'm stuck in anything.
You shine brighter every time I see you.
Because it is brighter.
Yeah.
What's going on is brighter, and it well, I won't say it's brighter. I'll say the brightening continues.
Yeah.
It just happens at this pace, like this, at this level, and it's not there. There aren't any. I used to go from depression to mania, and it was ridiculous. The swings that happened in life, and I don't know. I won't say that it was mania, but it was from depression to feeling okay, and it was just nonstop. And it was just I got so tired of that ride, and boy, I like not being there. And I know that anyone who wants to not be there, because I believe the majority of us experience life that way, doesn't have to be. I just don't have to be, and it's just a wonderful way to live life. All the stuff is still there. Still got to make my house payment. You know, I still have to buy food and
chop wood.
Yeah, all the stuff.
Take care of your dog,
has
your
to
yard.
happen.
You know,
I got to cut the grass.
right?
And,
Yeah.
you know, all those things happen.
But with so much joy. It can be very joyful. I know how to turn things that I used to hate. Like I didn't really like cutting grass. Now I can do it, and I love it because I'm aware. I feel the grass. I'm walking on the grass. I'm paying attention and giving attention to everything else instead of a complaint.
Right, exactly.
Because I can just choose that if I want to.
I like getting this done. I like doing this. Actually, it's one of my few forms of exercise that I get. So, I really like doing that kind of thing. And it was just like, God, I would have said a year ago, I would have said, what a waste of time. And grass, you know. And now it's just like, wow, I'm going to go cut the grass because I can make that feel good now.
Yeah.
You know, and look good, and it's just everything has changed. You know, and it's I'll kava and kratom.
Yeah.
Bring that in, and
Sure.
lotus flower, the beverages that are here, they help heal me. You know, because I certainly feel better when I use them.
And if you feel better, it changes your frequency, and then it changes the way you're taking in thoughts.
Everything.
Right. Your nervous
Changes
system.
the way I see what I'm looking at.
It's all about your nervous system, Doug. That's why I teach everybody about nervous systems. The nervous system's the A1 thing, how we perceive our reality.
Right.
So if perception informs reality and you want to change your perception, you have to change the tool that's taking in the information, creating your perception.
Okay.
That's our nervous system. So if we work on our nervous system, like the primary thing I teach human beings is please breathe. Use your diaphragm. This just gets the fluid. The easiest way to explain, you get fluid moving up and down your spine into the brain, feeding that pineal gland, the proverbial third eye. That opens up. It has rods and cones, just like these eyes. Same design. This just takes in this kind of light frequency. That one takes in a more scalar type of frequency. So that's the difference between manifested light and unmanifested light.
Right.
We have the ability to access both. We just have to exercise the connection. It'd be like having a hand you never used. It don't work. Then how does it start? Moving one finger, two fingers. And that's our journey. Right. Little by little, we're getting more dexterity, and what's happening is we're learning how to live our life skillfully. Joy and ease.
I remember in the healing circle, my pineal gland kicking in and doing things that were wonderful to do. You know, I got to see little colors and little flashes, and I got to observe myself and other people in the circle, and it was like This is real. This is really happening, man. This is nice stuff, and I know that's where it comes from, And I know that all of our lives we've been calcifying our pineal gland, and I don't know. I guess that's breaking down. I don't know how that works.
You're feeding it. It actually has piezoelectric crystals built into it. It actually has. When they started to really study the little nobody's known what it is really.
Right.
They know that it does secrete like melatonin, and it has something to do with our sleep schedule, and it's directly stimulated by natural light coming in through the iris.
Okay.
So like research shows like the first 30 minutes of sunrise is a perfect time to sun gaze because you can give a lot of sun. It's not like when it's high in the sky burns your eyes. You're taking in natural light of the creation light. And this starts to wake up parts of the brain. And then another place that's really good is the last 30 minutes of sunset.
Okay.
Try to watch that. Try to bring that in. We're meant to it's almost like I feel like we're meant to have like a sacred kind of thing with sunrise and sunset. I don't know exactly what that is yet, but I have this feeling because we're meant to time ourselves and everything we're doing with the cycles of the sun because it's a creative essence and life force.
Okay. I commonly
candlelight too.
Watch sunsets, but I don't see too many sunrises.
Fire, really good natural light. I love fires more than I ever have because it feeds and it opens up. Mary and I will just sit there and meditate and have an awesome time doing some shamanic work, and we'll journey and get out of our bodies. It's so cool just sitting there by a fire.
Yeah.
Where before I was like, I like the fire, but I like to get drunk while I sit by the fire.
Yeah.
Now I'm intoxicated by the fire.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right.
But yeah, so what's happening is we're waking up our brain. That's what starts to happen. It starts to happen as we strip away the unresolved emotional data. That starts to fall away, and then light starts to flow through our being better. Because it's energy. We're all energy. It's frequency of waves of light. So once we become aware of that and start seeing that way in our mind, it makes it pretty easy for me to understand I need to do things that help me flow energy through my body. And so the primary thing is tuning the nervous system. So and then there's the breath. That's the primary one. Another really good one is meditation, of course. Cold water immersion. Very, very.
I haven't done that yet.
Very powerful tool.
Yeah.
You can start. I'd start in a cold shower, and again on my YouTube channel, on the Positive Pineapple, our YouTube channel, there is a cold shower tutorial. So I talk you through it because it's all about getting control of your breath. That's really what a cold water immersion is. You get control of your breath, you can handle just about anything.
Okay.
And that's what it teaches us, and it teaches us to be uncomfortable for a short period of time. I'm not going to die. It's just not going to feel that good.
Right.
Then you get used to that not being a big deal at all, and it effectively raises how much stress you can handle, the ceiling, the limit. And then there's all kinds of neurochemical things that happen. Like primarily the biggest one is you have a 250% rise in dopamine, and that's sustained for about 7 to 10 hours post-immersion.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's intense, bro.
I
feel
can't
amazing
even
when I get
imagine
out.
that.
Oh, it's heavenly. And the thing is the neural pathways get stronger as you do it, and it feels even better. It gets better and better. Like, gosh, this is amazing. It feels so
from
good.
my first one to my third one, completely different experience.
I would agree to that. You looked very comfortable, and it looked like you got like a lot out of it, and you weren't fighting anything.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
That's exactly where we go. And then I get in that water. To me, it's joy now.
Yeah.
I ain't like, I don't want in there. I'm like, I'm so excited I'm about to get in this water, this ice cold water. And I go last usually when we do our events. I go last because water contains memory.
Okay.
And part of kind of priest I am, I connect into energy lines. So I get into that water and I'm able to absorb ancient, because everyone is the accumulation of all who have come before them. We are the pinpoint of all of our ancestors. So we're connected to all of that energy and wisdom. So when people get in that water, after I bless the water, I open up the sacred space with the water, I work with their spirit a little when they're in the water, whoa, that really charges up the water in a really big way. And that's, I have everybody that's in there give to the water, drink from the water.
Okay.
Give, like you're giving your body heat away. Giving away my body heat. That's my energy out. My energy in, my balance, I'm taking in the ancient intelligence that is put into this water because it's the same water. It's always been here since the beginning.
Right.
And she contains so much knowledge and ability. And if we drink it in, it brings on a healing effect. It's like it reinforms the cells. The cells somehow have a shift or a change, and then the body starts to vibrate in a different way. And I watch these people get out of the pool, and then, we can describe this in a neurochemical sense. They're buzzing with dopamine and about a 530% rise in norepinephrine. Like, so boom, you're like, pow. Like, I get out of that tub. When I'm in the tub, it's really powerful. Sometimes I have really intense emotional experiences, laughing hysterically, crying my eyes out. It'll push out whatever it is. I call it a portal to another dimension.
Okay.
Many versions of me have went in that tub and a new one has arisen. It's like some form of like otherworldly kind of like baptism. I can't really put it any other way.
It is otherworldly.
Yes.
Because the world that I was in was a very uncomfortable world. And the world that I'm in now, which I'm going to say is otherworldly, is a very comfortable world. You know what I mean? It's just like the fear factor is so low. I don't know that it exists right now, and it's like, I mean, I don't feel brave or fearless or anything like that. I'm not experiencing that. I don't have to defend myself. I don't have to prove anything about how tough I am.
Yeah.
Or how whatever.
Show us how nice you are. That's what I want to see. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But I understand.
There is nothing to fear but fear itself.
Yeah. There's nothing to fear.
And one of the AA things was fear was false evidence appearing real. And pretty commonly that's a fact, isn't it?
Yep. There's so many more possibilities usually than the one we're agreeing to.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just I don't mind that it's taken to this point to understand that, and because it just feels so good. It's like I can make amends for my behaviors, my past behaviors. One of the ways to do that is to not do them again. Don't behave like that anymore. And I think that's the easiest thing to do too. So it just makes sense to focus on that and become the person that I actually am. And I see that. I'm telling you, I see that happen all around me right now. It's a wonderful thing.
If you had any advice for someone that's at the beginning of their journey, saying where you were, that's it. That's the question.
Wow.
What would you tell you where you were to help you? What do you think would have maybe began to steer you, or how would you give that sort of advice, like to someone who was in your shoes?
I guess to stop. To not have to prove who you are, to not have to prove that you're something you're not. That's what I did all of my life. I tried to prove I was something I wasn't, and just to be authentic. If a person, if anybody will allow themselves to be authentic, I'm gonna guess, all right, that the beauty will come out instead of the conditioning that we're due to be tough and to be overpowering. I like the idea of power with rather than power over. And to I know himself be true, man. It's what it comes back. I think about that so often now. Because I really like being true to myself. It's just easy to do, and I don't have to protect a fantasy or a fallacy.
A story.
I can just be me, and the natural me is a decent human being, and I want more of that. And I know there is more of that, because there's like, what comes next? There's always a next.
Yeah.
And all I have to be is authentic in order to appreciate it and to enjoy it and to bring something to it that is nurturing for the whole, whatever I'm part of. You know, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. And one of the things that's happened with me, especially, that I mean, certainly can't talk about anybody else, is that I feel like I have status here as a decent person, and so there's trust, and I really enjoy that. I like the authentic hello and the hug from people when I come in, or it's time for me to go and to say goodbye, and people want that. They want to say goodbye in a really nice way, or see you later, or whatever it is. That's just so. I'm just in awe of what's going on. It's even hard to talk about it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the words. Which words do I want to use?
There's so many choices.
Yeah, I wrote a poem one time. It was titled "Finally Knowing," and that's what it's about. And one of the lines in that is about the second coming in the heart. You know, finally understanding that kind of that concept. It just changes my entire view of life. You know, and I'm responsible for that, and I like that. I like saying yes to the things that I'm saying yes to now. You know, and I don't reject fear. It's just not really part of my life right now.
Right.
And I didn't resist it. It's like melting away or evaporating, and it's just a wonderful, liberating feeling. And I remember when I was a drunk, I was one big feeling, but the feeling was like crushing, and it was painful, and it was
distorted.
I wanted to hide out, and then I wanted to strike out. That was how that feeling worked, all these different ways. And now I'm enjoying feeling, because it's a feeling that it's growth, and it's communication, and it's contact. It's just a wonderful thing to be going on, and I feel blessed and very fortunate and very deserving. And none of those words were in my vocabulary for most of my life. You're just a piece of shit, Doug. You know, terrible person. You know, that's how it was, and now those don't belong in my. They're not in my vocabulary anymore. They certainly aren't in my thoughts, and which is a really nice thing, because I still have thoughts. Obviously, we all do,
Right.
but boy, that isn't part of it, and it has to do with being in a nurturing environment.
Sure.
You know. And genuine and authentic and all those nice words. I really like
Epigenetics shows that that's precisely it. Our vibration, the vibration on our environment, and not just this environment, but the inner environment.
Right.
Right. So when you're nice and you're in a calm environment where you feel safe, the body's really relaxed, it takes in light. It starts to heal. It starts to regenerate. It starts to digest. It puts the body in a nice kind of state, is what's happening.
Okay.
So it's basically, the way I would describe it is it's like we're better and better at getting out of sympathetic dominance. Your sympathetic nervous system's your fight or flight mode. We spend most of our time there in the base parts of our mind where we're not free yet. So it brings us there. When that happens, the body can't heal itself. Stuff starts to break down, and this will end up in some sort of symptom. It could be a physical pain symptom, an emotional symptom, a mental disorder, a skin problem, so on and so forth. It can be, it creates a symptom, and the symptom's the messenger telling us, hey, you need to change something, right? Otherwise, it recycles. It recycles over and over. So we recycle our experiences, just like how you said I was stuck in a loop. You recycle the experience until you learned what you had to learn, or you had to get, in more better terms, You had to give up what you needed to give up. You had to let go of what you were holding on to.
Oh, I agree with
So
that.
if we go,
100%.
that's when we can catch a whole new wave of light, a whole new wave. That's precisely how it feels to me. Is like if I'm holding on to this heavy energy, which is all just my energy connected into the field, if I let go, I can loosen my grip and get a better one. I'm going to let go of that and go here, change my awareness and my vibration. And now I can pull in a better thought. And then instead of me in the moment thinking this is bad, first thing I say is, am I safe? Yep. Okay, then that's good.
And now I can trust the process too,
Yeah.
because I've experienced what's gone on. I've experienced how I've benefited by doing that, by trusting the process. And it's only brought me nice things. It's only brought healing into my life, and it's really it's genuine healing too. It isn't temporary stuff, It's not like taking a benzodiazepine, and feeling real good for a little while, and then when that wears off, it's just like back into the depression or the pit or whatever it is. This is constantly being in a healing, what I can see as a healing part of my life. Frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what it really is. Isn't it?
Your
It's all
vibe
frequencies.
attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy to say yes to it. So, and I love not being consumed by the thoughts of what's going on in the world. I know the stuff's going on, and so I can't change that other than to change me so that I'm not part of that. I don't add to the chaos, and that was how I lived my life. I fed it.
Yeah, that's most people.
Yeah.
That's where I've come from. I know it's where Dave's come from, and most everybody I've ever met comes from that same space. And it takes me back to something you said in the beginning about destruction. It's kind of like that. Destruction is the mother of creation. Through the destruction comes creation. That's
Right.
where we grow from. So it's exactly what needs to happen. We create this mind, this ego mind that creates limitations and a trap for us, and we have to pretty much destroy that version and create a new one, allow it to grow and expand. Because I think we were talking about this earlier before we started. I was talking about how I'm not much for teachings of killing the ego or the ego's not good or something. It's just a misoperating program. That's really what it is. And if we learn and understand it that way, then we can begin to change it. And then we stop identifying with the thoughts. We understand. Once the mind understands, thoughts aren't me, they're energy. I'm reading it from the field via my vibration. Once that awareness happens, now it begins to really have control of what it gives its attention to. Because wherever our attention goes,
Our energy flows.
yeah, buddy.
Sure does.
So that's one of my favorite questions, too, to myself sometimes.
Yeah.
I bring in the question, say, where's your attention? Love that one. Woo.
Just paying attention is just really important. I mean, I crashed through life. I didn't pay attention. I talked like I did, but that wasn't going on.
Yeah.
Just crashing into walls and breaking things and
Destruction.
Yeah.
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 Deconstruction's another word. Huh?
And that's just not happening today, and there's a reason for it, and the reason is because of awareness and willingness and openness and just really beautiful things that bring good things to life. That's a slogan for some
GE.
GE, good thing to life. That's
Don't get
right.
me started. Mary laughs to death because I remember all these commercials have
Yeah.
been imprinted into my brain. Remember like all these 80s kind of cereals and toys. And sometimes I'll channel one and it just comes through. It's usually when I'm having psychological or memorable experiences from my childhood is usually when these things come in, like a Light Bright commercial or something comes on. And I start singing the song. She's like, how do you remember all the words?
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know. it's like I'm there.
Yeah.
Because I can go there. Like it feels like it's very, very acute.
It's what you paid attention to for a long time, huh?
It's whatever this hard drive that this meat suit is. It sucked it up.
Right, and it doesn't get erased ever.
Well, it's like this connection. I can feel it's a fine neural connection, but also within those memories is healing, because it takes me back to vibrational space when I was earlier in my development and I felt safe. Mm-hmm. So like these commercials, I remember they bring me this feeling of safety. So it's something that's imprinted. It's just something now that as I continue to work through my subconscious mind, my awareness expands more and more to where I can see all these things and how my brain is actually thinking and bouncing off of everything. Mm-hmm. We have a very high capability of awareness in which we can attain. I have no idea how far that goes. I feel like it's probably limitless until we actually become one with the energy around us, like total oneness happens. So I don't think there's a limit. I think we're on a beautiful journey, and I love it.
I don't want there to be a limit anyway, so I'm fine with it. Just okay, what's next? What's next? Because there's going to be a next, and one of the really nice things that's happening over the last I don't know year or so is what I don't pay attention to now. Mm-hmm. You know, if I pay attention to being the best me, the better me, the good me, the whatever I want to call it, you know, the improved version, that's good enough for me, because that's what I can do. And I hope people understand that about themselves. I think I would say that to anybody. You know, it's just like you can only work with what you have to offer. All right, and so I can only work with what I have to offer. And if I think of those things, then I can be responsible for what I'm offering. Mm-hmm. You know, and it really is a beautiful thing, because I like feeling good. So that was what I tried to do all the time when I would pour alcohol in my system. I wanted to feel good, you know. Mm-hmm. And there was always a crash and burn, you know, and sometimes it happened pretty quick too. And it was very short-lived. And this is not short-lived, what's going on now. I don't even want to think about it as permanent. It's just continually going on, and I'm like, wow. So. You
just reminded me, I was watching The Chosen. Mary shows. Mary always a great guide. She knows like which episodes I need to see somehow. We work very well energetically beyond our capacities for thinking. It just shows up. So I was watching this, and what you reminded me of is Jesus showed up at a well with a woman. Okay. And he asked her to get him a drink, and so they started to have this conversation, and then he told her, the water that's in that well, you'll be thirsty again and need to drink. The water I can give you is eternal, and you'll never thirst again.
Yeah.
Ooh, isn't that beautiful?
I remember that story. Yeah. There's a lot of beauty that's
to our higher consciousness. Allowing it in, opening ourselves up, stop being afraid. That's the hardest part for everybody. That's what I battled with, and you know, still there's parts of my subconscious mind that still come apart, and I recognize it as I go. Like, hey, that's connected to a fear frequency. Do I need this anymore? No. Kind of let it go. It's like a refinement. We're refining our light. There's so many ways it can be said, but I try to make it as simple as possible. Like, we're refining light. Right. What's happening. We're refining the flow of energy through our being. And that first starts with our concept of our nervous system, because that's the beginning. That's this base control, this needle on the record. We're energy slowed down so slow we get to perceive time and movement. We're slowed down. We're already spirits. We're just having this very slow. It's like very pinpoint, because we're taking in so much information. It's slowed down. Mass amounts of information, and we're taking it in very slow. This thing's processing, the energy field's processing. It's all God. This is the mind of God. It's growing. The universe expands. It continues. We're it. That's the cool part.
Yes,
we're the universe expanding. we're the cells of it, right? We're it, just like we have 30 trillion cells in us that we call our body. We don't consider them separate things, but they very much are. They have space in between them and everything. Most of what's in them is space.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, it is.
yeah.
It's hard to imagine, but that is the way.
I don't have to imagine because I see. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit different, but that's why I try to bring that up is these things. It's hard for me to explain, right? Because there's only a few people I know that really see into this kind of level of energy that I see currently. I know there's more, I just haven't met them yet, and I'm helping other people open that up. That's part of also this refinement of light. As we refine our light, it opens up our true self. Our true ability to feel and vision and sense and reciprocate. Like
Right.
that's something for me. I'm in the stage where it's gotten really strong for me, my energetic reciprocation.
Okay.
Understanding that I embody the energy I want to be. I don't have gratitude. I am gratitude. So I bring in the things I sense. I'm grateful for you to be here. I feel that. And then I feel that here. Oh, that's my gratitude.
Yeah.
And I have the choice now. I keep working my nervous system to take that beautiful gratitude and spread it all over my body to the tips of my fingers and my toes. Now I just did it. My whole body's vibrating in gratitude.
Right.
And as that happens, now I have the choice to radiate it from me. And as I do that, that creates gratitude. I can feel the gratitude for Mika. I can feel the gratitude for our chairs and this mic and the room. And it starts to radiate, and it bounces off everything in here, and it starts to come back. So this puts me in this flow. Like right now, I feel just totally blown away and full of gratitude.
Right.
I couldn't feel better than I do in this moment because I become one energetically in a beautiful vibration with my entire surrounding.
And I can see that. I can feel that. And that's an experience that I didn't have, that I am having now. And because it is being shared, the gratitude is being shared, and I get to do that too. You know, it's just, I like I've said it just blows me away to see this continually going on and to say, wow, this is real. This is real. Come on in. Come on in and experience it, you know, or go somewhere, or sit in your room and meditate for a while and let your vibration, let your frequency increase, or at least change. However it changes, I can't say, you know. Allow that to happen, and then decide whether you want to say yes to that or not, you know. And I can't imagine anybody not saying yes to feeling better, so. Because that's what we all try to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do because they don't think they deserve it.
Yep.
Well, I didn't think I deserved it, you know, so I can relate to that. I know I deserve it now, you know, and I know I can. I know it'll just continue because I absolutely appreciate it, and
You just had to give up the story you were telling yourself.
just feeling worthy, you know. Says, yeah, sure, why not, man? I'm a decent guy. I can think in terms of like I'm not God, God is me, you know, and that helps me be real to myself, you know, and we're the answer to the question, who am I? And it's just like, sure,
Everything and nothing.
is the answer to the question, who am I?
Everything and nothing.
Right, exactly.
Both are true.
It's like my painting. It's called I Am.
I
I
am.
am everything.
It's when you
I'm
said that
nothing.
about intention, it's just like that's being demonstrated to me constantly that it really is everything.
It is.
Well, not every. Okay, it's a big part of the.
Listen, your
process.
intention drives all of your energy.
Wow.
Wherever you're putting your action, because you can't bullshit that part of us.
Okay.
Right? We can create lies in the mind and hide it from ourselves, but we can never hide our actual frequency. That's why most people, like, they try to manifest money, okay?
Yeah.
And when they try to manifest money, they're saying, I need money. So that's already a vibration that's tainted by fear. That is,
Okay.
I don't have enough.
Yeah.
So the true way one manifests, and how I've got even myself here from all these different realities, from terminal illness to here I am on this podcast, was through that, through connecting and connecting to the vibration of what I wanted to be. The first thing was, I want to be healthy again and be able to breathe. What would that feel like? And then I take myself in there, and I could feel it. It's like I could bring the awareness of what that would feel like. And then as that happens, I start to draw that energy towards me, and it starts to change my life. And like, I want to be forgiving. That started to show up, and that was one of my first interactions with the spiritual energy I work with, I understand, is Jesus.
Okay.
And he came into my life, and what he showed me was forgiveness. And he showed me that it's nothing like what I thought it was, because I thought it was a thing. But it's not a thing. It's a vibration. It's a state of being, a frequency of consciousness. And as he showed me that, I embodied, like how I just told you how I can embody gratitude, I can also embody forgiveness. I don't have to give it. I am it. And it vibrates within me, and I can vibrate it without me, as within, so without. And we connect into the space. And the more people that keep learning, like we're learning, how to do that, how to radiate our gratitude and our intention, and when more people learn that, we become a lot more powerful, because now we're aware of what we're doing in our reality. We're not. That's a big question too. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I do what I do? Shit, that's a tough question.
Love.
That isn't a question I asked myself.
But I mean,
Single word answer.
Strong answer. Like, so when you find yourself doing, say, something that you know is maybe not good for you, or something maybe, let's just put it like that. We all do that. Like, I eat stuff I shouldn't eat. And what I do is I don't bullshit myself. I tell myself, this is just because I haven't learned to love myself enough not to eat this. Because I enjoy this so much that I'm willing to sacrifice this body.
Right.
So I'm aware that's my ego, and I don't try to make it some other thing. I don't try to slough it off or push it away or sweep it under the rug. It's not like it's super important. I beat myself up about it. It's just an awareness of my behavior.
Oh, so that's why I eat Cheetos, huh?
Yeah, I love Cheetos too, Doug. But the whole time I'm eating it, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
I know that this is not good for my body, and I can't lie to myself.
But it's got real cheese.
But then I have accountability as well, and then forgiveness. So, because that happens anyway for most people when they're eating food, they know it's bad, but they lie to themselves or distract themselves from that truth.
Right.
So what happens is that becomes part of the subconscious program, right? And then that is what creates all these behaviors that are totally disempowering for us. One thing at a time. So what I've always been trying to do, and this seems like a theme for my life, I've generally been a person that's like, really, I'm very open and I don't lie. Like, Mary loved that about me when I showed up, because I'm not afraid to say how I feel.
Okay.
Or tell you what I understand or see. I don't care if you don't understand me or believe me or any of those things. I'm just going to say it how it is. For someone, that's very helpful. And even for someone whose mind may be closed to what I say, it still plants a seed, because it's energy. Frequency. You can't unhear me. You can't unfeel me if you're in my space and I begin to vibrate.
That's right.
You can't do that. Right? So I understand what planting seeds is. In shamanic terms, it's don't underestimate the power of planting a seed. I understand that's more of like an energy line connection, because these are nervous system. So if I can make your nervous system vibrate with any part of my nervous system, now we have a connection, even if you don't know it.
Okay.
And this is how light spreads, because we're consciousness beyond this mind. Like, we are part of a mind. It's a copy of a copy of a copy. Everything is like that Fibonacci sequence. Like I just pointed out to your 30 trillion cells in your body that are separate entities, but living together in harmony to create you. Guess what? Us too. We're part of another bigger cell, which is a bigger cell and a bigger cell. This is the multiverse. From the macro to the micro, it's just copies of copies of copies. You have 30 trillion people inside you right now. They're having human experiences.
Yeah.
But we have only observed as these little balls, these cells with little parts in it that help it be alive and
space
and reproduce and all kinds of things. That's how we understand it in a biochemical sense. But we know now, due to quantum physics, that matter is informed by energy. Energy creates matter. So that's what we do. We're creation itself. We see this world the way we are because we're collapsing the wave. There's wave functions of energy that come in, and as we collapse that wave field, what happens is that it generates matter. We're all co-dreaming this reality. That's why we all feel the same. Right? I can feel all three of our energies. These are energies of people who are internally awake on their journey.
You feel I have to pee?
Yes, that was been a while, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back. We had to take a little break. How you guys feeling?
Good.
I feel wonderful. and it's just becoming such a common way to be that I don't pinch myself to see if it's real or not, because I know it is. And I don't have to do that because I'm paying attention to what's going on in my life, and I know I'm responsible for the choices I make, and every choice has its consequence. That's what the shirt says. It says, well, it doesn't say choice. It says every action has its consequence, and it does. And which set of consequences do I want to live with? And I'll take the kinder, gentler nudge rather than to hit me on the head with a 2x4 to get my attention, because that didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. All it did was cause damage.
Yeah.
And what's going on now, there is no damage.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I can't see it if there is. And I'm paying attention, so my guess is that there's no damage going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I drive the speed limit now. You know.
Yeah.
And I stop. I stop for a stop sign or traffic signal.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I'll yield to people, and I don't feel like being aggressive. You know.
Yeah,
I pick up garbage and
I don't
things
get that
place.
like spark if somebody is like driving slow or driving slower than I think they should be.
Right.
And I just
I used to.
Yeah,
I was a
start getting
maniac.
angry.
Oh, get the hell out of my way! What are you
Yeah.
doing here?
Oh yeah.
Why are you crawling down the street? I got places to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you holding me up?
Yeah. Now I kind of just go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know I've trained myself to realize wherever there's something that my mind's saying this is inconvenient, to slow down and pay attention. It's slowing me down on purpose. It's not. I stopped disagreeing with my reality a long time ago. So it's trained so well that when things arise, I pretty much really quickly don't disagree anymore. Say, oh, well, this is how it's supposed to be. I should pay attention. What's it showing me? Like I have interactions or something with someone that feels heavy and it makes me triggered. I realize, oh, I better pay attention. It's teaching me about me.
Yeah.
Right? And it does every time. Because even when people say some really effed up stuff to you, it also within it are frequencies you can use.
Mm-hmm.
You can take those things. You can
The
take
nectar.
their heavy energy. Exactly. You can take the heavy energy of someone and you can extract from it what you need.
Right.
You can, like the path of the hummingbird, we call it in our tradition, extracting the nectar. And you can take it out, and the rest, you can give it to the earth because she loves it.
That's a wonderful thing.
Heavy energy. You give it away. You give your hucha to Pachamama. And when you're doing that, you're also doing a great duty. And as you do that, you're giving that to her. You're giving her that great, rich sami that for her is just... it's rich. It's like a sweet chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
She takes it and she loves it so much. And then what you're capable of doing is now you have a connection with her because you're feeding your heavy energy to her. She'll gladly feed you some of her loving energy, her mother's milk. And we can draw that into our bodies through our intention, through our meditation, our breath.
Right.
And it begins to bring healing, sweet connection to the earth and brings us deeper into nature. And as I keep doing that, the more and more I love nature. I want to be outside. I want to get my hands on trees. I want to do healing circles in the park. I want all that. I want to be by the beach. I want to be in the water. My connection to nature is, I want to go play in the garden. My connection to nature is so far beyond what I could ever have imagined. Because when I was a kid, I was like, okay, it's cool. It's trees and stuff. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by all this life.
And
this
you
living
are it,
energy,
too.
right? And you feel that because you're radiating it. Your awareness, because just like I said, it's our awareness, what we're paying attention to. What we pay attention to pays attention to us.
That's right.
It comes back, and it's gratitude. Oh, I love you too, Mike Stand. That's awesome. And it can be something as that simple, can change the way the mind's working, and if you just repeatedly do it. If I sit here and I consciously give my gratitude to this beautiful plant, and I'm talking sweet to it, so that loves that. I just seen it react with the energy, saying, I love you, you're beautiful, look at this little pot. How intelligent is that we've designed something that catches the water, giving all this praise and beauty to creation itself. And when I do that, it comes back to me. And then it reminds me that I'm part of it, like you just said. Oh, how cool is that?
Yes, very cool. And I don't spend my time pointing my fingers at people anymore. You know?
No.
Passing judgment on people.
I just take the blame. It's all my fault.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's just my fault. And now that's out of the way. Now what can we do?
And
instead of trying to figure out who to blame, okay, it's all my fault. Now what do we do?
And you and I both know that becomes an opportunity if we let it. Yeah. I'm really digging that. You know?
That's a big seed to plant in people. Like, I'll take all the blame. You guys two aren't getting along. I'll take all the blame.
Right.
Okay.
Then you don't have to blame each other.
Yeah.
Now find a solution because there's no more blame.
Right, because nobody wants to be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you're both right, okay?
Yeah.
And you're both wrong, and you're both right. I'm
right.
Wrong. Yeah. It's all my fault.
Let's move on.
I learned that. I channeled that medicine through doing couples counseling, because that would happen. Couples would come to me, and as I'd sit there, it's usually what the game is with couples is it's a blame game. They both feel insecure and being vulnerable and all these things, so they're holding this illusion of blame in front of each other. And I was able to really see it, and it's just energy. It's just blockage. And then so I kind of asked Spirit, what do we do about this? And it said, take it. I was like, oh, duh.
Problem solved.
How could I not? I mean, Anthony's just not that smart. Spirit's way smarter. Said, take it. Oh. Okay. And so I watched him, and then when we're done, I was like, all right, that's good and everything. I was like, how about this? It's like, so it looks like you say that she's to blame and he's to blame. I was like, so we have all this blame here. Okay, now it's mine and you can't have it. Now what are we going to do? And I just watched them sit there with these two whopper jaws. Right?
Right.
It's just changed. It just changes the whole thing. Just by changing one idea about it.
Because you bring solution.
Or possibility, at least.
Every condition there is.
Yeah, possibility is everywhere. And plus, the solution can be many possibilities.
Yes, it can.
So it's solutions.
How
or
do we do that on a
or,
grander scale?
Through ourselves, like what we're doing, creating podcasts and conscious media for people to listen to as we sit here and talk about ideas and healing and, not trouble. Not putting energy that's heavy into the world. Us just being here doing this. And it doesn't even matter if nobody watched it. We're a cross-section of consciousness, so it vibrates from us.
Okay, right.
So that's the whole thing. Just by our intention, never letting the ego seek an outcome. Like I learned that early on when me and Mary first started doing groups and stuff.
Okay.
Sometimes only one person would show up. My ego mind's like, what am I doing this for? I'm wasting my time. And then my spirit mind goes, no, man, that's not why you're here.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, thanks. Thanks, Daddy.
Yeah.
That's kind of how my ego reacts to my higher mind. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I got into business is what happened. And then as soon as I'm aware of that, I realize I'm back to where I'm at in my full consciousness. And I'm aware that whoever is there is precisely who's supposed to be there. And I have amazing peak experiences with these people. The experience, I hear you've been there. I've been with you to have peak experiences. Me too. I'm having a peak experience with everyone in the room. And that's what drives me to do it, because if we're having these peak experiences together, this begins to create a better coherence between us and Source.
And the possibility exists for everyone.
And then everyone takes that out into their realities, and it's systemic. And it just spreads.
Yeah.
That's
the beauty.
Mycelium.
What's going on in this life right now, in my life right now, because I get to see this, and it's not just in myself. I can see it happening with other people too.
Sure.
It's like, wow.
It's been such a pleasure to watch you and Chris
Yeah.
grow together, and like she is a completely different being than when she first walked in.
Yeah.
She has so much more confidence in herself, and I mean, it's such a joy to see her smile, and
Right.
such a joy to look at you with loving eyes.
Yeah. To trust me, it's a
Gosh, that's beautiful.
joy
I can
is the
feel
right
all that.
word for it.
Ooh.
Yes, it's joyful for us too.
For the effect that it's having on me, because we have a history, and that history is being overridden,
Mm-hmm.
and the finger pointing isn't going on. That's another example of that. I don't point my finger at people. I try very hard not to, and boy, the relief that's come from that. And I don't feel sad or anything that other people don't get it yet, because it's yet. I didn't get it yet, so it's possible for anybody to. And I just think the probability of that happening, because I'm beginning to get it, is higher for everyone else, because my energy is moving in that direction, or motivating people, or whatever it is, and I get to think about that frequently. It's just like, Doug, just be responsible for yourself, and be true to yourself. I really love that statement, to thine own self be true. And and
Don't bullshit yourself. That's the only person you could never bullshit.
the beauty is it's easy to do.
It isn't, because it's a total lie. That's the thing. It's easy to do, but you're agreeing to a lie. That's what it is.
No, it's easy for me to see it for its
See it?
truth
Sure.
of it. It takes a while. It takes work for that to happen.
Sure.
I'm not telling anybody, slip, you're done, because I don't. That isn't what happened with me. But it was worth. I get to look back at it and say, man, it was worth every ounce of energy that I expended to get where I am right here, right now. And I think I'll stay. I think I'll stay a while.
You can.
Yeah.
That's how it works here. It's like lots of people get addicted to growth.
Yeah.
You begin growing. It's all about balance. So it's spending time, you grow, and then you coast. You enjoy it. You don't rush out of here. You pick up everything you need to pick up in this space. When it's time for you to move, you will have signs.
Right.
When it's time, opportunities will arise, people will show up. Those are the things we have to follow and keep going with the story, and not get comfortable where we're at.
Okay.
Because if comfort leads into disease. That's what happens. So it's allowing, but it doesn't mean to rush out. Lots of people, they grow a little and they don't take the time to integrate the time, be okay with it, allow themselves to cognitively even connect to what's happening in their life.
That's what Moshe's doing for me right now, is the integration aspect of it, because it's something that I never allowed to happen. I don't think I ever considered it. It's not even a matter of allowing it to happen. It wasn't any part of my thought processes.
Because you're not trying to escape anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's also being reinforced in the name and the attitude of the people that I have around me too. So I try to think in terms of value rather than good or bad or right or wrong. What's the value here? It can be a negative value. It's okay. It can be a positive value. It's okay. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be one or the other. There's a value to whatever experience I'm having. What is it? And I like to sit with that for a while. I like to take a few moments and really literally integrate what's going on in my life. And I never thought like that. And it's available to anybody that wants it. That's the beauty.
It's available by the truckload.
By the truck. That's right. By the truckload.
By the truckload.
Yeah, and it's delivered in such a kind, gentle way that it's like it's not too much. That's another thing, and I'm not overwhelmed by what's going on. I actually look forward to doing things now. I dreaded going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
or whatever it was I was going to do, I dreaded. Going to the post office, I dreaded it, and now it's like, wow, what's going to happen that I'm going to walk out better than I walked in. I'm going to leave the place better than I found it. I get to think in terms like that.
It's beautiful.
And it's...
Look at that. Look how your attention has changed.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's
so cool.
It's 180 degrees.
Gosh.
And I think that's the result of putting a bridle on my ego.
How long's the journey been for you? When did this start for you? How long back? I think I might have asked you that in the previous session, but
yeah, you did. I think it began in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely in 2000.
How about like the biggest jump? Because a big jumps happen. How long's that been? Like from where you not the very beginning. I mean, because we have very deep stages of awakening that can start earlier on, and then you'll start to have your big jump. Like recently, you've had a big jump. How long has that been?
That's been a couple months.
Yeah,
a few months.
You
know what? I'm so unaware of time most of the time.
Same.
I think this began last November.
Uh-huh.
So I know this began last November.
You walked into the vortex,
and then you had a big jump. Like I watched you jump, like a bunch of like a bunch of emotional maturity happened. Like poof,
it happened really fast.
Because that's what happens when we get connected to spirit. Time doesn't matter. You don't learn really that way.
Yeah.
From a spiritual standpoint, we can evolve hundreds of years in advancement in spiritual form in seconds in human time. Because this is all really slowed down. Spiritual energies, it's instant and eternal, so it moves really quickly. And if we're open, whatever we're open to receive, it can help us take.
Mm-hmm.
And so our work is consistently, like you're saying, how can I be better than I was before?
Yeah.
Perfect question. How do I change me? Or bless them, change me.
Right.
I'm going to bless everything around me. Whoosh, and I'm going to change me.
And I can bless everything around me too.
Mm-hmm.
That's another beautiful, like a revelation. It's just like, go ahead, Doug. You can bless things around you.
Yeah.
You can treat things with respect.
Yeah.
You can say thank you. You can express gratitude for whatever it is. And all of it is the best thing to express gratitude for, because there's a lesson in everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're all here teaching each other. I'm aware everyone teaches me stuff. You're a great teacher, by the way. I want to tell you that.
Okay. Well,
for me, you've been a great teacher.
Definitely.
Well, you're right. It's not so much in like you're standing there at the front of the class with a ruler and talking.
Right.
It's I learn from you in a spiritual or a energetic way. You're eternal. Yeah, I understand you're Doug and that's your story. Like I'm Anthony and that's my story. But I'm also aware of how my spirit learns, my energy learns. My energy field learns from other energy fields.
Mm-hmm.
That's why doing the work, like why I've been called to do the kind of work I do, I'm connecting energy fields. So we're all learning from each other simultaneously, advancing, and it just starts there. Like it's like these energetic connections come in, say we're doing a sound bath breath work. We're doing one here tonight. We bring in the energy, it connects to everyone, they leave, and they connected to these lines of light. And they start spreading them in the world around them. And they start to grow and flourish and open up. Like you come in here, you have some kava, you talk to the other people in here, it's all their energy. You're bathing in that frequency. It's like its own sound bath. And then you take off and you're connected to those frequencies and it begins to change us.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the beauty of what we're really capable of doing. So just by you having that consistent intention to try to give your love, your gratitude, I just call it a loving frequency. If you just be love.
Well, that's what it is too, isn't it? It is.
I'm so grateful, because love's a hard word because there's no real translation.
Right.
It's a feeling that's undescribable. It's total elation, soulgasm kind of thing. Like I love that feeling when I'm so overwhelmed with joy, but not quite to tears, just exhilarated. Like, oh my goodness, you got to be serious.
Right. Right.
What a day, or when I look at Mary and I'm just so grateful, like, man, I'm so glad we're here.
Yeah.
Or I look at my daughter, I'm like, How lucky am I? I'm your dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these beautiful little things. Like I could be at the gym with Dave. Dave, isn't it cool? We are able to like work out, move our bodies. You know, work with our nervous systems.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Thank you.
The rewards just don't stop. You know, and that's to me. It's like I'm not asking for anything. I don't need to be rewarded, but I sure do enjoy it, and they keep coming. And I'm motivated to keep going along the path that I'm going on. And I really like doing it with the people that I'm doing it with, because I'm not alone. There's no question about that. And it's just it's something that I never dreamed possible. And now there's no doubt in my mind that it is. And it's going to continue for whatever, I don't know, as long as I want it to, I guess, as long as I let it.
It'll keep going whether you want it to or not.
Yeah.
You can slow it down.
Yeah, and then it'll throw some
it.
symptoms in your path, and it'll force you to change.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I was saying earlier, don't worry about, like, some people are afraid to coast. When they find a space of consciousness that feels really good to them, they're afraid to coast. They're addicted to actually, I have to grow more. No, sometimes it's good to coast. Don't go looking for it, because it'll find you.
Right.
Your next thing will come to you. You don't, or the thought will tell you where to go to get it. It'll come to you. You won't have to sit there and ponder everything.
Yeah.
Think. Because that's just this mind. The spiritual mind wants to guide us. As long as we get this out of the way, it starts to open everything up. Because I never would have imagined being here, Doug.
Yeah.
Not me. Like that sounds intensely just insane to me, that I was going to grow into being a shamanic priest.
Right.
That has dedicated his life to helping people around the world change, grow into what we're learning. I want everyone to be free, whoever's ready. Yeah. I can't change nobody that's not ready to, but I can help whoever's ready. I can help them on that line, and we can help them on that line.
Plant seeds.
And that's part of the thing, is to just be available.
Yeah.
You know, and willing.
They'll come to us, see how we're here, and every weekend people show up.
Well, like Doug, when he first started coming, he was stuck in that duality and just consumed by everything going on in the world.
Yeah, that happens easy.
I kept planting the seed. Man, Doug, you just can't pay attention to it. You can't change it. And that seed grew. I mean, proof positive.
Yeah.
You just needed to be reminded of it a few times.
And now Doug is a mighty tree.
Yeah.
That's a fact, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're our the most incredible success story so far.
Yeah.
There's
by far.
Well, I think there's a lot of them, but
yeah, we're going to try to have everybody on who wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because that's how we motivate other people. Because like I said, you're a great teacher, and it has a lot to do with just your energy about you that comes out of you, your projection into the world. And so that's why it's beautiful for you to be here. It's essentially, I feel it like we're doing God's work. We're trying to help people understand who they are and what's capable and what's possible. And when you tell everybody, I used to hate it here, and now I'm really enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And I think it's available to everyone.
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear. That's hope. There's nothing stronger than that planting that seed. What if that's that one word you say is a possibility for someone? Oh, that frequency goes in and it hits them, and then the lines of thought start to connect. Oh, that's God.
Yeah, it is.
Right? If it comes through us, it goes in. It opens up. We all sing different songs. Your songs are beautiful, and they're probably going to touch lots of people.
That's why we're medicine for each other, because everybody's got a different song.
Yeah.
Something.
But when we bring them together, it's an orchestra.
Yes.
Boy, it is, and I'll tell you what. There's an orchestra playing in this place, and I'm seeing it in other places in the world too. So I mean, that's another beautiful thing. It isn't just, this isn't monogamous, man. There's a lot of stuff.
There sure is.
And I'm starting to actually experience that other stuff.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's very cool.
Like church.
Correct.
Have you ever been regular to a church before?
I was a Catholic. I went to Catholic churches from my childhood until I was 46 or 47. I took breaks from here and there, but it never rang true to me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why I did it so long. It just never...
Routine,
Fear.
Yeah,
programming.
What if you're wrong?
right.
That's why most people get stuck in religion.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like, well, what if I'm wrong and I pay for it on the other side? I better.
Yeah.
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 And now I went for quite a long
How
time
terrifying.
without being in a
Yeah.
church, and now I found this one in Grafton. You have something to do with that, don't you?
Yeah, So we go there and we do breathwork and sound baths there.
Right.
So those are pretty nice with Pastor Jim. Shout out to Pastor Jim Thornton.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
What
good-
a wonderful
he's a good
man.
buddy of
I
mine.
just really enjoy him.
We work out together during the week sometimes,
Okay.
and
That's-
I'm a priest and he's a pastor, so we
Right.
have some very interesting conversations, and
Yeah.
we teach each other lots of cool stuff.
But he wants to be called Jim.
Yeah,
Now it's
Jim.
two priests and a pastor.
Yeah,
Okay. Right.
two priests and a
Right.
pastor walk into Planet Fitness, and that's how the joke starts,
That's interesting. Okay.
or the story. It's a story.
Whatever it is. It could be a joke.
It's just like
It's okay.
I feel like my life is the never-ending story. I mean, it's just blows my mind everything that's happened in the short period of time, and watching people explode into consciousness like you are.
Yeah.
That's a reality for me every day. The work we're doing every day, I have message after message of people that are going through this kind of expansion. It's happening all over the place, and I have shamanic groups where I'm teaching, and I'm teaching them shamanic practices, and I'm watching this energy expand in this collective group, and I feel it. I'm part of it, and that's kind of what's driving me. It's like I can feel like there's energy, and we're all sharing it, and where it's like this movement of light, and we're all growing. I'm watching people's energy come online, their medicine gifts
Right.
coming alive, their fears falling away, the possibilities opening up. And it just blows my mind, but I love it
Yeah.
so much.
I don't have to do damage control anymore.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful thing, because that took up a lot of time.
sure.
It's just like, wow. I said to Julie earlier today that one of my thoughts is I don't have any idea how I found enough time to work in my life, seeing what's going on now.
Yeah.
But I do know how, because I
Uh-huh.
didn't pay attention to what's going on now.
Yeah.
I paid attention to other parts of life that had to be satisfied material.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we have bills to pay and stuff like that. I get that, but I think you can do one or the other. I can't imagine being able to do both.
Well, it depends what you do. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so my old job would never afford me to have the spiritual connection I have now.
Right.
I work more now than I ever have.
Right.
Okay. But it's so much more rewarding
I don't even
that
see
it doesn't
work.
feel like work to me. I mean, I'm putting in effort and conscious time, and I'm giving all my time pretty much to helping the world heal. I don't
Yeah.
I don't spend lots of time in other kind of positions. That's where I
Yeah.
spend most of my day.
Right.
And in my consciousness, but I can do all those things with my consciousness. Like, it's not like when you're at work and you hate your job and you're just thinking about everything else that you hate while you're at work.
Right.
That's what I used to do, because my job, you get to a point installing furnaces and air conditioners, it's very repetitive, and if anything, it's frustrating because there's issues and things that happen, and they're in the way of my thinking.
Right.
Right. So that's my whole life, my whole work history up until I was able to retire from HVAC and become a full-time priest. I hated it. I totally hated it. I only did it because it's what I knew how to do and make good money.
Yeah, had to make
Right.
money.
Now I do this. I make less money than I ever have, but I feel more wealthy than I could ever have imagined.
That's because you are.
You're right. Because it's never been money.
That
Doesn't matter.
That doesn't
And
satisfy.
the thing is that once I believe, and my faith is unshakable, I know already that God, the Creator, is going to give me whatever it takes for me to do what I need to do,
Right.
because I'm in alignment. I'm in energetic soul alignment with my purpose. I don't lie to myself. I try everything I can to create a better me, to create a better world, and share that with others through my heart, through my love.
Right.
So I'm guided by Source. So I have no doubts. I don't worry. Whatever needs to happen will happen for me to continue because I've already been provided for every day up until here. My ego would love to take the credit, but I fully am aware that it's creation or God or the universe which guides. It's brought us here, us, all three of us, right here in this moment to share ourselves.
Right.
So what's your one message for the day here that you'd love to share with the world?
I love that.
Just,
Message of the
there's
day.
so many, it's just it's a matter of I'm gonna go back to this well that I go to frequently right now, and it's to thine own self be true.
To thine own self be true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the vast majority of human beings are decent people,
Mm-hmm.
and I acted like an indecent person. I behaved like one, and I don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being true to myself, and that opens a door to just everything, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's recognizing we have a choice. In
Yeah.
every moment, I have a choice how I wish to react. Paying attention. That's something that's just a beautiful, beautiful tool, is allowing yourself to find that space in between your stimulus and reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Just that second, and as we get better at it, it stretches out into a long time.
Yeah.
I don't knee-jerk.
Yeah.
I'm not triggered right away.
Right.
I've learned how to create space. I still get triggered. It's just, it's not, I don't react.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I become aware, I'm triggered. Everything's okay. You're okay. Everything's okay. Let's see what's going on, kind of thing. Like, what is it? What is it? Because the trigger shows me where I'm not free. If I can absorb it, slow it down, I'm triggered. And I can slow down and recognize whatever I'm triggered about is totally okay because I'm safe already.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learn within me where I feel unsafe. Because that reaction is because my ego's scared.
Right.
It's trying to protect me. And that's how I like to look at it, is that reprogramming of the ego by little, taking my behavior apart
Right.
as it occurs and applying the knowledge that source gives me, the knowledge that other teachers or books or something give me.
Mm-hmm.
That's information. The information comes in, and I like to take on the information that comes to me and apply it into my reality. Plug it in. Let's use this. Don't just read it and know it. Use it. And I use it. And by using it, I gain experience.
Right.
And then what I begin to realize is that knowledge flowing in through experience generates wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're all headed,
That's a
into
wonderful
our wisdom.
thing, isn't?
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is really nice stuff. It's really nice
Yeah.
stuff. It makes the difference between wondering and knowing,
Yeah.
and being able to do something with what you know that's like the world benefits from, but I benefit from.
Mm-hmm.
It just being to me that's just an incredible thing that I just never honestly ever even considered
Commercials.
as even important. That's what I read in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
There was wisdom references, and it's just like, wow, I get to experience that now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very nice thing. But I don't just experience it through myself.
Right.
I'm being surrounded by people who are experiencing that.
Welcome to the collective
It's
consciousness.
wonderful.
Yes.
It is wonderful.
There's
Doug, we think you're wonderful.
I think I'm a pretty decent person,
And we're glad you came on here with us today.
and I'm glad you
But we got to skate out of here.
did.
And we look forward to having you on again soon,
Yes.
because this is a beautiful story that I love watching unfold, and I'm sure everyone else does.
Yes.
Okay.
Doug.
Well, I'm game.
Yay. Me too.
Thank you.
I'm totally game.
Thank you everyone for joining us. You can visit Sacred Waters in North Olmsted and Lakewood. In Lakewood, we're at the corner of Mars and Detroit, right next to the library. And in North Olmsted, we are on Lorraine Road at 30111 Lorraine Road, right across the street from St. Clarence Church.
Mm-hmm. Check us out at moshilove.org. You can also go there and please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications to this channel so you can be notified of the new videos that come up. We have some new things planned that may be coming through this platform, and I don't want you to miss that. Also, check us out at thepositivepineapple.org. If you want to book a session, do a group session, host a session, we just want to work with whoever wants to do the work. If you want to get a spiritual group together, we're down to do that. That's really fun, and we want to do that. So
let's grow.
Let's grow. Doug, we want to thank you again so much for being here, brother. We love you.
Love you.
Thank you, Anthony.
It's beautiful.
Love you.
And I love you.
David, love you. And you too.
Okay. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
It was wonderful.
This has been the Quantum Shamans presented by Moshi with David and Anthony. We look forward to seeing you next week for more insight into who you are and your place in the universe.